Good afternoon. We are broadcasting with Crowning Touch live from WFJX Fox Radio 910 AM and 104.3 FM. And my name is Linda Ballantyne, and I wanted to welcome you to a new radio program called Let's Talk About, and it is designed for seniors. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm the founder and president of Crowning Touch Senior Moving Services in Roanoke. And our weekly radio program on Fox Radio will aim to highlight issues of interest to seniors. And while we are working up our menu of topics over the next few weeks, we invite you to message Crowning Touch with topic suggestions on what you would like to hear discussed. Meanwhile, today we want to talk about moving, changing your residence, and all that entails. If you are a senior, that can pose special challenges, especially physical ones. And then there is the mental stress. So unless you have lots of family support and they are ready to actually pitch in on a practical basis, you are going to need help. And good longtime friends may or may not be as capable as you wish they were. That's where we may be able to make the entire moving or downsizing process a little easier. At Crowning Touch, everyone is trained to help add a special expertise and upbeat energy to the problems any senior might encounter facing a major move. We have been offering our award-winning help for 28 years, and we can do it all. We can help you sort and pack and unpack, and we can move you both in and out of state. We can ship items to your children or help load their trucks. We can even sell what you don't want in either our consignment shop or auction house, and we can split the profits with you 50-50. So we are the only moving company that can write you a check. Then we can clear your property of trash and thoroughly clean your house and preparing it for resale. In fact, we can even help you list and sell your house through Crowning Touch Realty. But before we dive into the tips I wanted to share with you on decluttering and downsizing, let's kick off this program today with our guest, Jen Bennett, the owner of Crowning Touch Realty, and a dear friend, a very experienced real estate specialist. She's also a senior real estate specialist, and that is a special qualifier. So I'm going to start this conversation with Jen and just start out. Jen, I'm going to ask you, what's so special about the designation Senior Real Estate Specialist?
Hi, Linda. Thanks for having me. So to be a Senior Real Estate Specialist, you have to have been a realtor for a little while to get this designation. And there's additional education that you have to acquire through a class, and a credential is added to your license for this.
And so how long does it take when you go through that? You can't just start off as a young realtor and pick that up, correct?
No. It would be somebody who's been in the business a little while, has a little bit of time under their belt.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you've been increased your sensitization about? You're dealing with realtors. What makes you special?
I think that dealing with the senior community is very different than just, your typical appointment that you may go on. You have to have a deep knowledge of the real estate market and economic issues maybe that are going on in the community that could possibly affect the sale of someone's home or even purchasing a home if they are downsizing. You have to be very sensitive to many things that could be going on with them.
Sure, because they haven't moved in a long time, probably.
No.
So many seniors have lived in their home for 30 and 40 years, and they're not used to even selling their house.
That's correct. So, 30 years ago, they've bought the house, they've raised their kids in the home, and they've acquired all these things, and they kind of sometimes just don't know where to start.
A nice part about one of the big advantages I see about selling today as opposed to 20 or 30 years ago is that you have technology at your disposal.
We do.
So how does that help you if you go in and work with the senior? What are some of the things that you can acquaint them to that that technology can help you do in terms of selling their home?
Well, because we have the wonderful internet today, it makes marketing very mainstreamed. We are able to not only go in and put their information in MLS, but there are many, many websites, of course, that people are looking on to find homes. So that makes it really easy for us.
And sometimes you can even, if the house is all tidied up, you can even do Zooms and videos inside the home, correct?
We can. Actually, just for a senior client that I have, I just did a walk through the whole house with a FaceTime on the phone. They're out of state right now, but they're looking to move closer to their family. So that was an easy way for us to do that, and they did end up writing an offer on that home.
So many seniors, all of the equity, so much of the equity that they've saved and accrued in their life is tied up in their house. Do they have to be out of the house for you to sell their house? Is there an advantage one way or the other, that way or not?
Absolutely not. It depends on each person's situation, I would say. If there is a lot of items in the home, we may have to do different stages where maybe someone like Crowning Touch comes in and takes some of those items out of the home so that it is a little easier.
It's not cluttered?
Yeah, it's no clutter. It's easy to navigate through the home, not a lot of extra furniture, knickknacks, items, things like that. And we can make it look a little more modern that way and appealing to people.
What about repairs? What if they're in a house that they've been in for a long time and chances are, the roof is good and the heating system is good because they've had to, in the course of time, they've had to go ahead and make those major changes. But they're happy with the way their kitchen looks and they're happy
Sure.
with the bathroom and they're living in those spaces and that's hard to fix up. Do they have to totally remodel their kitchen, which a lot of real estate agents want to push you to go ahead and be the equivalent of other houses for sale on your street or in your neighborhood that have been all dressed up and redone?
You do not have to do that. We would, again, on an individual basis, it would depend on certain things and what type of repairs. As far as upgrades go, you don't have to upgrade your home to sell it. We would just have to have a conversation about how that may affect the price. If it's got 3 other homes that have sold on the street that are, all updated, we may not be able to get as much for their home, if they've got basic things, from 1980, let's say, a 1980s kitchen. Obviously, you're not going to get more, but that's okay because we specialize in being able to sell their homes as is if that is the requirement.
Sure. I think the expression is this house has great bones, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Something
exactly
like that.
right.
So how long have you been a senior move specialist? You've been doing it for...
I have been licensed in Virginia for about 8 years now.
Right.
I added that designation to my license last year, and I have about 14 years in the real estate industry, as a whole.
Well, when I go to sell my house, Jen, I'll call you. But
I would love that.
but unlike most seniors, I want to stay at home as long as I can.
And I understand that.
If I was thinking about, suppose I was thinking that maybe I would consider moving next year. When should I call a real estate agent? When should I call you, Jen, and start talking about it?
Sure.
Especially if changes have to be made to my house or a little, maybe I'm willing to make some changes.
I would say give about 3 or 4 months out if you know that some things are going to need to be taken care of, such as thinning things out in the home. Maybe there's some small repairs. I have contacts for people who specialize in all these things. So I'm kind of the coordinator of it all. I can handle it all, walk them through the process, and make it easy for them. And we can plan out the whole way up until they're ready to list.
So you're willing to work with other family members. Sometimes I find that when you're getting ready to sell a house or move, my senior clients frequently involve their other kids. Sometimes
Yes.
a kid might want to move into that house, or they might want to take things from the house. And so it's a family,
Sure.
it becomes very much a family project
Yes.
when people are moving.
My team and I have 3 other people on my team.
Right.
So we are always there, to help with whatever they need. And we are very used to dealing with families and what their specific needs are. We can do whatever they need.
I wanted to just mention reverse mortgages. Is that even something that, if someone wanted to stay there for a while before they did that, does that complicate a house that gets sold, or they need some type of bank advisor before they can talk to you about that and you can steer them in the right direction?
Absolutely. A reverse mortgage can be a dangerous thing, and I would always advise somebody to speak to a professional about that and speak with their family about that.
Right.
It depends on the person and their situation, how many family members are involved. Is there a plan for the proceeds of the sale of the home that needs to go to pay something?
Right.
If not, maybe the reverse mortgage is good for them. And we can put them in touch with the right person.
I know that there's one thing that you and Crowning Touch does that other people don't do, that I'm aware of, and that is that you are frequently ready to take, we're ready to take the cost of the services and even the repairs out of the house when it sells at closing.
That is correct.
If people wanted to have you help them orchestrate repairs to their house and organize that, you could actually do that, and they wouldn't have to have any money out of pocket right then.
Yes, ma'am.
If they were ready to put the house right on the market as soon as that was done, you would be willing to forestall any fees associated with your service.
Absolutely.
And Crowning Touch would do the same thing. Even the cost of the move can come out of the house at closing.
That is correct. And I can help facilitate all that and make sure that everything gets put on that closing statement with the title company that I'm familiar with. And it will be no pain, painless.
We are user-friendly, Jen.
Yes, we are.
It comes right down to it. Everything about Crowning Touch is user-friendly.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's anybody listening that's thinking about selling their house and wants to make an appointment with Jen, just go ahead and call Crowning Touch, 540-982-5800. Ask for Anna, and Anna will go ahead and set you up with a free consultation. And we're gonna take it from there. Thank you so much, Jen. And
thank you for having me, Linda.
And I'm glad you're gonna be sitting in here for a while in case we bring you into anything else you want to pipe up with, any other experiences you've had as we go forward.
Sure.
We're going to go ahead and talk about decluttering, because don't you agree that sometimes so many of the homes, if they're just decluttered a little bit, it reveals some good attributes, architectural features in the house and other stuff.
And I think it's human nature for all of us. When we go into a home, people want to look and focus on people's stuff.
That's right.
And if we can get that stuff out of there, then they're going to focus more on the home itself.
So when we talk about decluttering, because we're Americans and we have so much stuff,
yes, we do.
We call it junkitis, and everybody has been exposed to junkitis. And if you think that you might be infected, you can check for areas of inflammation. And here are some of the things that might get in the way of you selling your house. Check your basement, your attic, your garage, sheds, kitchens, pantries especially, closets that are junked up, under even bathroom sinks and medicine cabinets, under the beds, junk drawers, your home office, your car. All of those areas are areas, even your car. I mean, so you're not necessarily selling your car, although we do sell a lot of cars at Crowning Touch. And then in order to do that, you need to unclutter your calendar. And most of us are overscheduled. So, you've heard that now that I'm retired, I have more to do than ever. But one of the things that you can do is exercise your no muscle, which means enforcing a personal boundary. You do have to set aside some time, but that increases, that adds to a lot of decluttering anxiety. People think, oh my gosh, I think I'd rather just live with it than deal with it.
Yeah, they have to find that starting point.
They do.
And that's what we're there for, is to help.
Here's the encouragement. It doesn't take, it takes very little equipment. You hardly need anything. You might see some trash bags and a few boxes.
That's right.
And maybe some markers. And so there's no great expense. There's no particular weather that has to apply, no special time of day or night. You can just go ahead and attack it. But there is some emotional baggage that you can get rid of that makes it a little easier to begin the decluttering. There's the fear of remorse that you may need it again. So scarcity, that scarcity mindset can be a major roadblock. But most of the time we have multiples of everything, so you can certainly get rid of...
I know I do.
Yeah, of the extra cookie sheets and casserole dishes and the clothes that don't fit you. Then there's the fear of ungratefulness. People are afraid to get rid of things that were given to them by other family and friends.
That's true.
I want to remind the audience today that nobody ever gave you anything that they meant to be a burden to you. So when it's time to move, you don't feel like you have to take it with you. You've enjoyed it. And if they're your friends, they'll appreciate that. And then you don't have to be fearful of waste because you can be a blessing and donate what it is that you don't want. But one of the greatest launches that I can recommend to anybody is an attitude of gratitude. And that's finding a place of true contentment, which has nothing to do with what you have or don't have. It comes from within you. And a way to generate that, I love this. This is the Apostle Paul in Philippians. This is what he says. He says, I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or want. And I really believe that if you can foster that inner state of mind, that generates an optimistic outlook, which then empowers you and enables you to get the job done. You feel much freer about giving stuff away if you realize that you are blessed with way more than you need.
Absolutely.
And then that inner peace gives birth to gratitude, and gratitude gives wings to the process of decluttering and downsizing. So if you choose to be consistently thankful and enjoy the process, you can spiritually stretch yourself. And so declutter inside yourself while you're decluttering your surroundings. You can create a battle plan. I want to encourage people to invite their children, especially. Part of creating a battle plan is writing everything down and engaging everyone. And you can define the areas that need to be dejunked, and then you can set calendar dates. And I encourage people to pick. It's too late to get people excited about helping you at Easter. But Memorial Day is coming, and the 4th of July and Labor Day and Thanksgiving, and family frequently comes during that time. And during that time, you can at least get them to indicate to you what it is that they truly want. And if you don't pressure them to take things, they will be honest with you and transparent. And that's what you want them to do. Then you can just go ahead and mark their little tabs that you can put on the bottom of everything to identify who gets what. So we've got more to share about how to value the things that you are going to get rid of and where to dispose of things. You can there are resources in your community that are more than happy to come pick up things, but they do it based on zip code, and you have to provide a list of them ahead of time. And don't add to that list because there's no room on the truck at the rescue mission and Salvation Army.
That's true.
When they come pick up your things.
They are very picky about that.
So you make friends with your trash can because you're going to be throwing a lot of stuff away. I think at some other time we might be able to talk about overvaluing your things, because that is almost a program in itself. I'd be glad to share with everybody how to go ahead and assess the value. And we also are totally ready to befriend you, look at pictures that you can send us at Crowning Touch, and for free we will help you decide whether it has a fair market value, what that fair market value is, and then how you might be able to get rid of it. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and close down and invite people again to call Anna at Crowning Touch, 540-982-5800, and make an appointment. You can make an appointment with me, Linda Ballantyne, to come pay you a visit, or with some of our other estimators. Anything that we do for you up front is free at no charge and will really help answer your questions. We can answer your questions on the phone. You can email us. You can go to our website, crowningtouchusa.com. Or, like I said, call Anna, 540-982-5800. So, again, signing off, I'm Linda Ballantyne, the President and CEO of Crowning Touch, and we're broadcasting live on WFJX Fox Radio 910 or 104.3 FM.
We got 8 minutes.
All right. So now I was just amazed that we did have a little extra time. So terrific.
All right.
This is great. So let's talk a little bit about how not to overvalue your stuff. Used furniture, if not an antique, will net a fraction of the original purchase price. And don't be tempted to use insurance appraisals. Those insurance appraisals were meant to totally replace something that was burned or stolen. The fair market value is the price of the existing item in Southwest Virginia at the particular time that you want to sell it. Selling to the end user will get you the most money. You can sell on Facebook, Marketplace, Etsy, eBay. There are all sorts of places that you can sell. And if you don't have a middleman in there, then you'll go ahead and make the most money that way. But if you don't feel confident or want to mess with selling it yourself, then there are other outlets. There are tag sales, yard sales, auctions, other dealers, and consignment shops. But that's going to net you a lot less. But these are viable alternatives. I will tell you one thing about consignment shops. We do have a consignment shop and an auction house where we sell things. And our consignment contract is different than a lot of them. So be aware of some of them, or at least, be educated about the fact that if they take your things, they will start you off maybe at a 60-40 percentage, where you get 60 and they get 40%. If after 30 days it doesn't sell, it drops down to a 50-50 split. And after 60 days, it goes down to you only get 40%. At the end of 90 days, almost every consignment contract you will see says that they have the right to dispose of it and you get nothing. So just remember that their motivation to sell it between the 60-90 day mark is not that great. So you want to make sure that they've got turnover and that you're choosing a store that actually sells things of the same type of quality that you are thinking about putting in there. And auction houses are, the same thing. Estate sales can be good if you have plenty of space for parking and you have a good high-quality collection of things. If you want to have an auction at your house and you aren't selling off your property, it's very hard to do that. Again, if you aren't selling off your house and the land itself, then it's harder to have an auction in your house of stuff. You have to have a huge accumulation, almost a household, to make it worthwhile. In our auctions at Crowning Touch, we sell over 1,700 items every month. And that's a combination of estates. So if you have a combination of estates and you just want to add just a few things to it from your house, you can do that. Or you can be a majority estate holder in that auction, depending on how much you have to sell. But combining estates always brings out the largest crowd. So we have thousands of people that check us out online, and you're sure to get a good audience by putting your things in there. Let's talk about valuation real quickly, about what you can expect. The lifestyles of the generations that are coming after us, the boomer generation, we're the boomer generation, or the great generation, and under that, there's, the millennials are coming up, and they're not too interested, even though they're becoming homeowners, they're not too interested in formal dining sets and setting a table with china, are they, Jen?
They are not.
They don't even care about whether there's a dining room in the house, do they?
No, it is not a big need right now, and they usually use that room for something else. Right. They turn it into something else. They're very into minimalism now.
And even homes are being built with great rooms now. I mean, they aren't really even having a separate dining area.
No.
So all of these beautiful formal dining sets, which we still sell, just do not net the type of revenue you might be hoping to get. So you might have spent $10,000, $12,000 for a Henkel Harris table and chairs, and you are not going to get that. You might get, you get less than $1,000, in all probability for that set. It's the same with dishes. We can get more for a weed eater than stemware at Crowning Touch. So you have silver plate also brings nothing. Anything that's been monogrammed brings almost nothing. It has to be melted down because no one's going to have your exact initials. What does bring a lot still are TVs, flat screens in particular. The other kind don't bring anything. So if you have old TVs in your house, you can just throw them away. Appliances, washers and dryers, even the older ones, because they were made so well, they're very, very good. So we can still sell 30-year-old washers and dryers that are in good working order. John Deere tractors and all of those tools sell very well, and informal furniture. All righty, so we've just got just a little bit more. One other thing I want to tell you is that if you have you just inherited your aunt's collection of things and you want to hold on to some of it, don't think that you've got to hold on to everything in her china cabinet. Go ahead and pick out a couple of pieces, because I just want to tell you that a very small item will encourage the same sentimental memory, will remind you of her just as well as a whole china cabinet full of stuff. So, you can just go ahead and grab some little piece of memorabilia that will remind you of what's very important to you. All right, so we're wrapping up. This is Linda from Fox Radio, and we hope to see you, hear you next week. Broadcasting live from WFJX 910 AM and 104.3 FM.